unfortunately, poor people do. And so those are the people who were hit the hardest, but Canadian families were too. So you think 10 cents a loaf or 10 cents a package, but if you do the math, it adds up pretty quickly over a decade, right?
Good evening. Welcome back to Closer Look with Michael Friscaletti, our editor-in-chief here at Village Media. I'm Scott Sexsmith. Want to do a bit of a shout-out and thanks to everyone who has signed up to subscribe to get the Closer Look email in their inbox 5 nights, well, 6 actually.
Yeah, 6 nights a week, every weeknight, and then on the Saturday is what the Closer Look
Rewind. Yeah, it's taken off.
It's been great actually. We've had a lot of interaction, lots of people subscribing, lots of people watching us, which is fantastic. I feel like we're doing some really interesting interviews and some good journalism. Today is no exception. It is no exception.
Let's cut to the chase and talk about bread.
Yes, bread. Everyone's talking about the price fixing scheme that was uncovered.
Yes.
This is a story that's kind of a decade in the making. It's been going along for years. But this is where bread manufacturers and the big retailers conspired to fix the price of bread products around the country. And this is the allegation. Competition Bureau launched an investigation almost 10 years ago. Weston and Loblaw have settled as part of a class action lawsuit, admitted that they were part of this price fixing scheme. The other companies are still going through the court process. There hasn't been anything proven on that front. But there's a $500 million settlement, $500 million available for
a lot of dough.
Yeah, a lot of dough. You can slice that up anyway. We could go on.
We could.
And
we will.
And we will. And there's a website now. It's a breadsettlement.ca, right, where people can go up until December to sign up. All you have to do is say that you bought bread in the last 20 years.
Check a box.
And you're eligible for this compensation.
Yep.
Depending on how many people sign up, we'll know then how much money you're going to get. It's not going to be thousands of dollars a person.
You're not getting rich.
But it's a massive settlement. It's the largest price fixing settlement in Canadian history. And we're going to chat with the lead lawyer who launched the class action lawsuit, Jay Strosberg. He's a Windsor-based lawyer. He's going to talk to us all about sort of how this began, the years of work put into this case, and more importantly, how people can sign up and get paid for this wrongdoing.
Lots more headlines this week about an alleged price-fixing scheme that forced all of us to pay a heck of a lot more for a loaf of bread than we should have. Joining us tonight to explain all of the details is Windsor-based lawyer Jay Strosberg, managing partner at the firm Strosberg Wingfield Sasso. Jay, thanks for your time tonight. We appreciate you joining us on the show.
It's nice to be here. Thank you.
Jay, can we start from the beginning? Almost a decade ago, Canada's Competition Bureau executed raids at some of the country's biggest grocery chains. Can you kind of bring people up to speed on what they were investigating?
Sure. So I think it was 8 or 9 years ago, time flies, I guess, there was Weston announced that they had become the immunity applicant for the Bureau. And they said that they participated in a decade-long price-fixing conspiracy. And they alleged that they, along with Canada Bread, the two largest manufacturers, they had the largest market share of industrial bread, and all the retailers engaged in a price-fixing conspiracy, which effectively meant that people paid more for packaged bread than they should have. So that was, let's say, 8 or 9 years ago. And then that's what kicked it off.
And were charges ever laid against any of those companies?
Yes. Well, Loblaw's received immunity under the government's immunity applicant whistleblower program. And then Canada Bread recently pleaded guilty to 2 counts of price fixing. And they were fined the largest criminal fine ever in Canadian history at $50 million.
Wow.
And it's still ongoing.
Yeah.
I guess, the government moves at glacial speed sometimes. I don't have had any insight into that.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. So I gather it takes years. I mean, P. Diddy gets tried pretty quickly, but I don't know why. This stuff takes a long time, apparently. So although maybe I shouldn't throw stones, but we've been at our litigation for 8 years. Mm-hmm. So about a third of my legal career. So we've been on this case, and we managed to come to a resolution with one of the defendants.
Okay, so your firm, and you alluded to it later, launching a class action lawsuit against a long list of companies, including, let's see if we get them all here, Loblaw, George Weston, Weston Foods, Metro, Walmart Canada, and Giant Tiger. What was the crux of your claim?
And Sobeys
And
Canada Bread. And most recently, we were in the Court of Appeal 2 days ago trying to get Maple Leaf Foods involved as well.
Okay.
So you missed a few, but it's a long list. It's a long list. But so your question was what went on? Was that
what's the crux of the claim?
What was the crux of the claim?
Yeah. So basically, what the allegation is, and I don't want to get too technical, but it's a horizontal and vertical price fixing conspiracy. So in the horizon, you have the industrial bakers, Weston and Canada Bread, and then they colluded with all the retailers, the vertical. So you've got the manufacturers and the retailers, which is very unique. Usually you just have one or the other. So, and we allege that they were all in cahoots to coordinate, I think it's 14 price increases of packaged bread across the board.
So we're talking all kinds of different things like hot dog buns, hamburger buns, naan bread, bagels,
Correct.
All these kind of things.
Correct, exactly.
And when they fixed the price, how much more were people paying for, say, a loaf of bread because of this scheme?
10 cents, maybe 10 cents. So it's the kind of thing where you wouldn't notice, but I mean, maybe some people who would notice. I mean, unfortunately, people who are below the poverty line notice the most, and unfortunately, people who are below the poverty line were disproportionately impacted by this because it's a staple and it's cheap and, everybody buys bread. I mean, I eat a lot of bagels, but unfortunately, poor people do, and so those are the people who were hit the hardest. But Canadian families were too. So you think 10 cents a loaf or 10 cents a package, but if you do the math,
absolutely,
it adds up pretty quickly over a decade, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. It's 10 cents doesn't sound like a lot, but if you think of just the amount of people in one day that buy a loaf of bread at one store, how quickly that adds up.
Right.
And Jay, can you help us understand how does it, like, maybe those details haven't come out in the courts yet, but how does that happen? Like, how do you get that many people to agree to do something so illegal?
Well, that's the interesting part. So I'm just trying to think about some of this that was public. So I can't talk about stuff that wasn't. A lot of the stuff was filed. But let me just give you an example.
Go ahead and tell us stuff that's not public. That's fine too.
Yeah, we won't tell them.
Sure
no one's going to listen.
So you don't mind if the RCMP is just going to knock down my door during the interview? You're going to take my new camera. So what happens is there was meetings, secret meetings, either in hotel rooms or lobby bars, from people who have decision-making authority. Okay, and they'll say, hey, listen, in 3 months, we're going to do a price increase. We think it should be 10 cents. What do you think? And then what will happen is, so those are the people kind of at the head of the table. I mean, it's very cloak and dagger, but this stuff actually happens, right? And then so what will happen is they then go out to the representatives of each what you call them a cartel member. Okay, so grocery store number 1, grocery store number 2, and they'll have email discussions. Actually, there's some emails, if you can believe it.
Wow.
And they refer to this as pricing discipline, for example. And so they put a corporate gloss on it. I mean, I was in the Court of Appeal 2 days ago, and I read in this email, and I said, and it was two, very influential people in two very influential companies. Okay, and there the one is describing his meeting with one of the senior guys of the other company, and he said, we agreed that there has to be more pricing discipline in the market. And I just said to the court, I said, this is a crime. Like, just because it's in an email and it comes from an assistant and it might be included in a PowerPoint, like, this is illegal conduct. You're looking at price fixing. And what was shocking to me is how normalized it was. Like, they just, and then they said things like consistent with the last price increase. It's just so brazen and out in the open, right? It's just like they didn't care. It's just a number on a spreadsheet. So it literally is just like that. Just like people arranging a Zoom interview. You just email about it, and you go back and forth, and I don't know what to say. I've never seen anything like it, but it truly exists.
So, Jay,
now, hang on. Let me just have one more point.
No, go ahead.
We have settled with the Weston Group, and we settled for $500 million. So, as part of that, we are getting the goods, and we haven't received them yet, but we're going to be getting them very soon. So, we have their lawyer who's going to be assigned to us. for like 200 hours to give us the breakdown. We're going to get all kinds of documents. We're going to access the people, emails, data. So we're really going to get into it. This is just, you're scratching at the surface, like what we have, right? But the good stuff, and remember, conspiracies take place in the shadows. They take place in hotel rooms. They take place in lobby bars. They take place in the back of cars, in the back of limos. Like, these are places I don't get invited to, right? So in order to find out, you really need to have somebody on the inside. So now we do, and that's when the party's going to get started. Now, it's taken 8 years, but that's when we're going to know what happens. I mean, it's going to be fascinating. I think somebody should do a movie about this.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, I'm dying to ask this. Why bread? I mean, it could be anything. Is it because it's only 10 cents and it's a staple and everybody buys it every day? And is that why? Or, I mean, this could have applied to any product.
It could. So you're right with everything you said. You said why? You're right with everything you said. But the key ingredient, no pun intended, is that you have to have high barriers to entry. So the three of us can open up an industrial bread baking business and have market power. Right? So you need billions of dollars to get in. And it's highly concentrated, which means that there's only a few people, like a few companies that do this. Like Weston and Canada Bread had 80% of the market. Wow. So it's the market structure so that's the first thing. It's the market structure, and then it's the product. But I mean, you'd be surprised. I mean, we've done chocolate, we've done foam, we've done vitamins. I mean, we've been involved in a ton of cases. Like, it's susceptible. I mean, you think about, the last US election, and in the last Canadian elections, to a certain extent, everybody's talking about inflation, especially grocery inflation, grocery prices for grocery products. I mean, in the US, this is rampant. Like, I would say, like, if there's 10% inflation, probably 2 or 3% is about collusion, right? So you can just peel it right off the top. So it's just, but you're right. A lot of it is just that it's bread, and everyone buys it, and nobody else can get in the business. And it's controlled by a couple of guys. That's really what it comes down to. Like, two guys like you could sit in a room like you're sitting right now and just hammer out the next price increase.
Like you just said, we can't even aspire to get a Zoom call right, so that's not going to happen. But it's not going to happen.
I'm the same way.
But you know what, Jay? You mentioned 8 years you've been toiling away at this, you and your team, and obviously you're an experienced class action lawyer. Was there any moment where something did shock you, a piece of evidence that came out? Because when you really think about this, it's shocking to me as I just get up to speed on it. The fact that companies that you shop with their products all the time could do this. Was there any moment that shocked you?
Yeah, when I first read in the Globe and Mail what had happened. When I first read that one of the companies received immunity, it's interesting. That I guess that public policy, it's the way that, you wouldn't have discovered it other than the immunity applicant. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing was shocking. And these emails that we received from Canada Bread, right? So Canada Bread was owned by Maple Leaf, and during the time of the conspiracy, Maple Leaf was the major shareholder. And then Canada Bread Maple Leaf sold Canada Bread to a Mexican conglomerate, and then the Mexican conglomerate is running this company, and all of a sudden they get hit with $1 billion lawsuit. Well, I'm sure Maple Leaf never told them about that, right? So Maple Leaf is now Canada Bread has now sued Maple Leaf, and so they're suing each other, Maple Leaf and Canada Bread. That whole dynamic is shocking, and that's where we receive these emails. So those emails are shocking.
Yeah. That is fascinating.
And those emails go to the highest levels of the company, the top.
Yeah.
Okay. So this isn't. That was another thing that was shocking. This isn't a couple of lowly, a bunch of fresh VPs who just are out of undergrad. Like, these are the top people in the company.
And these are companies that
the wealthiest people in the country.
Mm-hmm.
These are companies that build their brands, or at least a large portion of it, on trust.
That's right.
So that was shocking. That the indifference. If you read the emails, actually, I think they're in the public domain. Some of them were in the Globe and Mail. So you can get the emails. Like, you just have to do a Google search. And I mean, some of these emails were written by Michael McCain himself.
That's disappointing to hear.
I mean, that you're talking about the CEO of the company.
Yeah, and there's somebody who also, remember during that, I forget what the outbreak was, that people were killed at his company, was very much seen as
He did that case too.
Right? Yeah, you did that case as well. What is it?
Yeah,
Listeriosis?
He did a good job at rehabilitating himself. It was the meat thing, right?
Yes, listeriosis. Right?
Listeriosis.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, listeria. So yeah, we did that case too. But he turned his company around, and then I mean, these emails, you can go look for them. Now they're subject to interpretation, but I'll tell you something. I read them a certain way. And these are all allegations. They haven't been proven. I appreciate that, but these emails don't look so good. And, I read them to the court. I read them to the judges 2 days ago, and there was silence in the room. And I said to the judges, this guy doesn't get a pass because he's a billionaire, and this company doesn't get a pass because it's one of the wealthiest companies in the country. I said, nobody in the country would understand why these guys would not be part of this, because we had some of the information, but we didn't have enough. So our case against Maple Leaf was struck. And then after the plea deal with Canada Bread, and then Canada Bread turned around and said it was Maple Leaf, and they told us to do it. And here are the emails. We went back to the judge and said, look, there's a there there. And the judge said no. And so I think he was just wrong. I mean, I have the tremendous amount of respect for Justice Morgan, but I think he was wrong. So we went to the Court of Appeal, and I stood up and said, look, this is what we knew before. We knew a couple of things. Did we suspect? Yes. Could we prove it? Not really. You have to have particulars to set out in your statement of claim. You can't just say these guys colluded. You have to give the actual particulars. We didn't have them. But we don't get access to the documents until after we're certified. So Maple Leaf didn't give us any of these documents. And I said, look, judges, you're going to set a precedent as to how conspirators defeat these claims. They can just sit on these documents, and then when you finally discover them, they're going to say, oh, too late. So it doesn't make any sense to me. So look out for that decision in the next few months. And if we manage to pull that off, which would be kind of like a legal coup, all bets are off. I mean, it's going to be. I'm 49. I could go another 8 years, I guess.
Sure, yeah, a lot longer than that. That's great. It's fascinating. I think obviously the headline everyone's talking about this week is the $500 million settlement and how they can get access to this compensation. So just if you help explain to people, there was a settlement with particular defendants. What happened there, Jay?
Yeah, so we settled with the Weston Group, and by the way, kudos to them. They fessed up. They settled with the government, and now they paid. I mean, so $500 million is the largest price fixing settlement ever in Canada. Okay, and it's one of the largest class action settlements other than the government-funded Indigenous cases, because those are really policy decisions that the government makes at the cabinet level. But this is private. I mean, it's publicly, but it's private money, right? So it's harder to get a company to write a check for $500 million than it is for a government. So this is a massive deal for us and a massive deal for everybody in the country. So what you have is, we worked with a team across the country, including guys in Quebec. They're very capable lawyers, and we hammered out a settlement, and it included the card settlement that we did at the beginning of it, because they tried to get a release, and so we went to court, and we fought with them, and they initiated that because of it. Like, they put our names on it. I actually think they put my partner's cell phone name on it, and he was getting like thousands of calls on his cell phone.
That's great.
Yeah, it's when Donald Trump gave Lindsey Graham's cell phone number out. So we got you add the card settlement plus the cash, and it's 500. And what happens is you just have to go to, I think it's canadabreadsettlement.ca. So canadabreadsettlement.ca. It's a one-page thing online, and you just have to check a box, and you have to say, I bought bread, and you'll get a check. And the amount of the check varies. I don't know what the amount of the check is going to be, because we don't know what the denominator is, right? We don't know how many people are going to come forward and claim. So, we hope. We're almost at 1 million claimants, which is crazy. This is the largest administrative distribution ever in Canadian history also, right? So we're just going to have to wait. They're going to have to process the claims. There's a lot of fraud. So we had over 1 million fraudulent claims already. For 1.4. That's what I was told yesterday.
Jay, I just want to clarify, just from an eligibility point of view, they just merely go to that website, check the box, and good to go.
That's it. I think you have to be 18.
And all you have to do is anyone who bought bread could be compensated. And we don't know the amount they could get, because we have to see first how many people are going to apply.
Correct.
Okay.
But I hope we get 10 million, but we've only been at it a week, and it's 1 million already.
Well, the more the better, right?
Absolutely. And you know what? So we're and this is just one. You never know what's going to happen with a lawsuit, but
yes.
We're going after everybody else.
Yeah, that's what I say. Like you said at the beginning, it's definitely not over. You mentioned fraudulent claims. What do you mean? People are putting in claims for this? They're not eligible?
Bots from China.
Yeah. We get that all the time too.
Seriously, we have a whole fraud team that has to monitor this, because we don't want any of that happening, obviously. So it's just, it drives the cost of administration up, but we got to protect it. So
for sure,
it's a lot of money.
For sure. Can you try to put a ballpark? Like how much maybe could somebody get after this all closes in December?
I don't like between 25 and 75. I don't 75 know. I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to know. I mean, we're going to, depending upon like what we'll do is we'll get all the claim forms. We'll get all the claims processed. Then we'll just hash it out and go back to the judge and say, okay, let's just gross everybody up depending upon how much is left, right? If only 10 people claimed, we're not going to give people millions of dollars. But if 5 million people claim and we wanted 10 million, we'll see how much whatever's available. We're going to put as much money in the pockets as people as we can, in the pockets of Canadians as we can, and that's why it's important to go to the website and claim. Everybody's bought bread. Just claim.
Yeah. Well, we're talking.
You guys should claim.
Well, I was talking to people about it last night. They didn't even know it existed. So I can guarantee you're going to get a bit of a spike tonight when this show comes on.
I really appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me about it because that's the most important thing. None of this works unless we get money into the hands of people, right?
Yes. Right. Yeah.
The one thing, I mean, we took it away from the defendant, from Weston. Now we got to give it to people. Mm-hmm. That's the most important part. Those two pieces are the most important part.
Mm-hmm. How gratifying is this for you, Jay? I mean, obviously, like you said, toiled away this for 8 years. Was there a moment where you poured yourself a drink and said, wow, this was something?
There are a lot of moments where I almost threw up, frankly. Well, I mean, so what the problem is. I mean, this is, you think it's like, oh, we had a whistleblower, but I mean, it's the criminal and civil liability are completely separate. It's a very complicated area to deal with. And it's very stressful, and it took a toll on me personally, frankly, because the more you get into it, the more you're working on it, and the more you're working on something you haven't been paid for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm trying to run a business, and I have responsibilities to the families of the people who work for us. So so it's like, okay, we want to get on with it, but at the same time, you don't want to give away the farm,
mm-hmm.
right? So it's, but yeah, I mean, I'm still a little bit in shock, frankly. I paid off my credit card last week.
That's great.
Jay, I know there's a lot of things that you can't comment on for legal reasons, but is there anything that we didn't cover this evening that you wanted to bring up before we let you go?
No, I can tell you that I've done a ton of media. I was on the BBC. I was on everywhere. Everywhere across the country. And these are the best questions that I received. I'm telling you, I'm not just blowing smoke. These are the most thorough and thoughtful and insightful questions I've been asked. So I'm really happy that I came on.
Well, that's high praise coming from a lawyer. That's great. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm serious. I was on the BBC, and the lady was kind of rude and was cutting me off, and I'm just like, man, I don't know what's going on with you, but you guys have the best questions. So no, you covered everything. So
thank you.
I mean, if you have any more questions, let me know.
No.
And I'd be pleased to talk to you about any of my cases or on this one. So I'll keep you guys in the loop of what happens.
Oh, that's great. We're definitely going to use that quote in the next promo video we do for the show. So we'll get you to sign a waiver for that to make sure that's okay. No, but that's great.
I'm going to subscribe as soon as I hang up here.
Absolutely. It's free. It's just a good point. It's free to everyone to subscribe. Just need your email.
Yep.
It's a great conversation. We try to have these conversations every day that go well beyond the headlines to just let people understand what's going on, how this issue came to be, and what they could do.
Right.
Yeah, and let's hope that a lot of people jump on the website. What is it? CanadaBreadSettlement.ca?
CanadaBreadSettlement.ca.
Amazing.
Good stuff.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Jay.
Thank you for having me.
You betcha. Jay Strosberg, the managing partner at the law firm Strosberg Wingfield Sasso. Jay, appreciate your time. Good to see you. It's fascinating to listen to a guy like Jay tell the behind the scenes stuff. I mean, that could be a movie.
Yeah, he's not wrong. It could be a movie. And
absolutely.
And as someone, I've been fortunate in my career, I spent a lot of time doing stories about complex court cases.
Right.
And with civil cases, like he said, once the class action lawsuit is certified, then discovery starts and documents start being provided, internal emails, things like that. And when you get to actually dive into that and see what people are saying to each other, and like as he described, it's fascinating. Like he said, there's a whole big load of documents to come, right, as part of this settlement that him and his team are going to be digging into. So there's a lot more of the story that's going to kind of be known to the public, what was going on behind the scenes. But it does. The problem with this story for me is it raises a ton of trust issues.
Does it ever?
Because we all go to the grocery store.
Yep.
Prices are through the roof. We're all frustrated with the cost of our grocery bills are just astronomical compared to what they were pre-pandemic. And they wonder, okay, well, there was this 20-year, 14-year conspiracy to fix the price of bread, which is a staple.
Yeah.
Well, what else is fixed, right?
Exactly.
Like what
We'll
else?
never know.
We'll never know. Like, I don't want to say products. I don't want to libel anybody, and
right.
I don't think we would. But it could be anything you put in your grocery cart, right?
Yeah.
So if you can't trust, these companies that do commercials talking about how they're all for the they do good deeds for their community, the communities. They give charitable donations. They're pillars of society,
Right.
And then you hear that they're all involved in basically an organized crime operation.
Because that's what it amounts
That's what
to.
it amounts to,
Yeah.
right? And it's not encouraging, and so you can see why people get frustrated. They're frustrated enough by the price of groceries, and now to hear this, and so maybe they're going to get, as he said, $25 to $75 in a gift card. It'll help, but
Sure.
Is that going to make up for 14 years of how many times you bought a loaf of bread or a pack of hamburger buns?
Yeah.
Over the cost.
And it's bad enough to, today to be dealing with what we call shrinkflation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where, the packaging is a little smaller,
Yes.
what's inside the package is a lot less. But these companies that we all grew up, knowing and trusting and buying from to have this happen.
And we have a huge trust problem in the world today overall. We just don't trust anything we read. We don't trust anything we see. And now we don't know if we can trust the prices that our grocery prices aren't fixed.
Exactly.
So we'll leave on that happy note, Scott.
We will. Tomorrow night, Mayor Alex Nuttall from the city of Barrie joins us to talk about his encampment situation.
Yeah, this is going to be a fascinating interview. All eyes are on the city of Barrie right now
are.
and on Mayor Nuttall because he's declared a state of emergency a couple weeks ago around homeless encampments. Right. As we talked about on the program, there was a major crime there. A person was arrested involved with 2 murders in a homeless encampment.
Yes.
It led to it being shut down and dismantled. And his state of emergency basically is giving his city more resources to deal with the problem, not only to take down encampments, but to find help for the people who are living in these places. And it's a drastic step, Scott, the people that no other city has really taken. So everyone's watching, and I believe yesterday he put out an open letter to Premier Ford saying we need help. We need more help. Yep. Communities are struggling with this issue. This is a provincial responsibility. We need more help. And I know people are chattering about it in other communities, watching what's happening in Barrie. So it'd be great to speak to Mayor Nuttall about sort of what was the last straw for him, why they're doing this, and what he hopes it accomplishes. And if it works, how many other cities are going to follow suit?
It's going to be a great discussion. Mayor Alex Nuttall from the city of Barrie tomorrow night right here on Closer Look. Okay, be sure to follow us anywhere on social media, closerlookpodcast.ca, and make sure you sign up for the email that we were talking about. Each and every night we'll send you brand new episodes of the show right to your inbox. For Michael Friscolanti, our editor-in-chief here at Village Media, I'm Scott Sexsmith. Enjoy your evening. We'll see you tomorrow night at 7 right here on Closer Look.
Frisco and Scott's Wardrobe provided in part by Moores, Sault Ste. Marie.